Hello and welcome to my 20s Harlequin inspired look. So I'm saying inspired because it's not your typical Harlequin look. It is inspired by the 20s and by reference pictures that I've seen, but obviously the costume is painted. The whole look, as you can see, is in grayscale, so that is in black and white, adding a ton of contrast, which is my favorite thing to do, especially during Halloween. So there are gray contact lenses involved and a black beanie just to cover the painted hair. Therefore, this makeup doesn't really involve a ton of products. Let's get straight into the tutorial. I'm starting off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, which I'm taking all the way through my brows just to rid them of any leftover moisture or oil or remnants of the moisturizer from before. Next, I'm going in with my trusty glue stick just to flatten down my eyebrows and just stick them to my skin so they're completely flat. They don't play any part in the equation. They're not part of the look because I just want to paint over them with fake eyebrows. Make sure they're completely dry before you move on to your next layers and your next steps. Speaking of next steps, I'm going in with my white Illamasqua skin-based foundation. I'm going gently over my brows with a huge NYX brush, and then I'm taking this foundation all the way down my neck. I'm powdering the whole thing into place with a loose translucent powder. This is so it doesn't shift around while I work on top of it. And next I'm going in with my Untitled paint as a base all over my eyelids. And by the way, I'm listening to relevant music while I do these looks, such as... Yes, funny little outtake, very retro and very fitting indeed. Next I'm going in with my MAC Soot eyeshadow, which is a matte dark grey color, and I'm painting these very thin, very straight 20s reminiscent eyebrows. Next I'm going in with my Gesso eyeshadow by MAC. This is just matte and white, and I'm just cancelling out my whole entire lid. I don't want it to play any part. Instead, I want it to be completely invisible so I can build a nice deep crease with my grey eyeshadow. I'm doing the exact same thing on the bottom eyelid as well. I just want the eyes to look quite downward and puffy if possible, to the point where I'm smudging out a bunch of eyeshadow, and that is still the same grey eyeshadow that I'm using to contour with all over the face. Next I'm going in with my MAC Fascinating Eye Kohl, and I'm taking that very generously inside my waterline all the way into the tear duct, just so, like I said, I can maximize the eyes. Next I'm going in with my black gel eyeliner, and I'm really doing a very dirty, smudgy eyeliner job. I really don't want it to be neat or pretty at all. I just want it to look as though I'm a poor little Harlequin soul who doesn't really know what they're doing with makeup, which in this case is not that far from the truth. Next I'm going in with my black Carbon eyeshadow by MAC, and I'm just intensifying all the shading that I did beforehand with this black eyeshadow and a much smaller brush just to get a little bit more detail into the look. Next I'm just doing a little bit of mascara just on the bottom lashes. My mascara is my Benefit Bad Gal Bang, and again I'm being very smudgy and very nonchalant with the whole thing. And next with my black eye pencil, which is my Feline pencil by MAC, I'm just lining my whole entire lip with this typical 20s shape of a very thin bottom lip, which is pointed downwards, and a very pointy as well top lip at the same time. A little extra shading just to finish off the face for now, and we're moving straight on to the body painted bit. So I'm using my Feline pencil again just to trace out the outline of what I want to do. So I'm doing a really rich color, which is going to be the focal point and the feature of the whole entire look. Again, I'm not being very neat with it because it's all going to be covered in white anyway. But before I do that, I'm just taking my black base all over the parts that are exposed. That means it's my black Kryolan Aquacolor Plus, and I'm taking this all over my shoulders, chest, and so on. And I did decide to draw a couple of buttons as well, which I did trace out with my white pencil, but it really doesn't matter what you use for your outlines. So with my white Aquacolor, I'm filling in the entirety of the color, and that is a little bit time consuming, but you don't really have to be very neat with it at all, because what's going to neaten up the lines is the shading that we're going to do on top of it, so no worries about that. That gets me in a really good mood, and it makes me really super happy just to see the contrast between the black and the white and the whole look coming together. So next I'm going in with said shading, and I'm just using my angled brow brush for this with the same gray eyeshadow that I've been using all along. You can be as neat or as messy as you want with your shading. It really doesn't matter that much. My point is to neaten up the lines slightly to the point where I'm going in with a little bit more Aquacolor Plus in black just to give it that more penciled in look if possible. Next I'm doing the same thing anything with a little button. So again, that's a circle of white Aquacolor, then shading with my angled brush with my gray eyeshadow, then doing a few dots with my black watercolor again, but this time I want to highlight them and outline the outside of these little holes with my white liquid eyeliner by NYX. So what that's going to do is it's going to highlight them quite intensely and hopefully make them look a little bit more shiny and real. Next, I'm going back into my white watercolor and I'm just highlighting the tops of the ridges of the color. The more you do this and the more detailed work that you do, the more realistic it's going to look. And the more contrast it's got, the more cartoony it's going to look. Basically, that's how I perceive it. So I'm definitely aiming to be somewhere in the middle between the two. Last thing I'm going to do on the body is just run a little bit of white eyeshadow as highlighter on top of the black that I've got on the body. So I'm going back into the face just to intensify the brows with a little bit of black, and I just want to give a little bit more highlightery bits and contrast with my white. Also, I'm drawing in my little bits of hair which are going to be sticking out from underneath the beanie that I'm going to put on later on. I'm just doing this with black Aquacolor again, and I'm highlighting it roughly in the middle with some white, just so it looks like a cartoony shine almost. I'm going to finish off the look with some false lashes. These are by Stargazer. They've got little black beads at the end of them, so I cut them up and I'm only applying them to the lower bottom lash. One last black tear for good measure, and that is it for the finished 20s inspired Harlequin look. So do let me know what you think of this look. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you do try something similar, make sure to show me a picture on Instagram because I love seeing you guys' versions of these looks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!